how would I know?
Hello, internet world. I have no idea.
So I'm going to go into Facebook and check out my group and see if there's any
Can see
evidence
us.
this is happening on my phone.
First time trying something new.
Yeah. So
if we are live, hi everybody.
We're in Riverside. This is my studio, and I'm trying to hook it up to various different platforms, which it claims it can do.
And this is my remote studio.
Very nice. Okay, we are definitely live on LinkedIn.
Woohoo! LinkedIn.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And should be live on YouTube.
Wow. Riverside is very cool.
If I can open, I'm just going to check in the Facebook window.
Mm-hmm.
Go live. I may have to click this thing to make it happen. But yeah, okay. I think we're live in Facebook now.
All right. This is exciting.
Yeah. So first time doing a live. My brother Kevin on the line. I'm just checking on my phone.
Oh yeah, I just got the notification. It said National View with Dr. Al Scott live now, live discussion. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, this is opening up so many opportunities.
Yeah, kind of fun. So I don't have any idea where I can see audience members. So I put a link in Facebook to the Rational View studio here in Riverside, so that people can actually join us here and chat.
Oh, fun.
Otherwise, I can have a window up, and if anyone is joining us, I appreciate you to try to send your comments, and I'll try to see them.
And in order for me to see them on my phone, I have to block out my camera to press the button right there, which is very awkward. All right. Well, we're learning.
Okay. So, okay. Oh, I just made you get very small.
I'm not a fan of the landscape version of this personally, because I feel I should be looking there, but then I'm looking at the corner of the camera instead of at you.
We could start chatting.
Let's do it.
I'm happy to get started on here. So the goal is that I'm gonna probably turn this into a podcast afterwards and load it up through my normal podcast thing. But this is kind of a first attempt to understand the technology and come live to everybody and allow audience interaction at some point. But my brother,
it would be very cool to have audience interaction in podcasts.
Yeah. So we're learning. My brother Kevin Scott is joining me as my guest, and also the leader of the Effortless Alphas. So thank you for taking your time from your car studio to join us.
Always a pleasure.
So we've had a couple discussions in the past about men's issues and your work with Effortless Alpha, and then we also did a discussion on manifestation, and I want to follow up with that because I think we had a disagreement there about what manifestation is. And
yes.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to respond and present. You've had some time to think about it in the interim and get your opinion on it. So just to lay the groundwork, the background for anyone who hasn't listened in before, manifestation. Why don't you tell me what manifestation is? Because I don't want to give the wrong introduction or straw man your argument. So
okay. Well, in my opinion, manifestation is working on our mindset and our attitude to attract the outcome that we eventually desire. That is manifestation. Working on your attitude, on your mindset, so that you can to make physical the ideas that you have in your mind. over time.
Yeah, it's very, very broad. So working on your attitude is, nothing in what you said. There's nothing magical or anti-scientific about how you've said that. So working on your attitude, everyone, I think, realizes that there are benefits to having the proper attitude to success. There are benefits in terms of being aware of opportunities and expecting opportunities and being ready to looking for opportunities and not having a negative mindset definitely has huge advantages on how you interact with the world, and it comes across in your interpersonal reaction or interpersonal relationships as well. When you're positive and when you expect good things, then you are able to take advantage of good things. I think,
and it doesn't always have to be positive. It has to be truthful. I think it has to be honest, because it's all about the best phrase I can give people was something that Melanie, my fiance, came up with. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are when you do it. And people, if I'm honest with you, even if I'm not having a great day, I don't have to fake positivity, because you're going to feel a fake positivity out of me. It's like something's wrong. Your eyes aren't smiling with your mouth like, I'm having a great day. Look at me being positive. Well, that's crap. We can all see through that. It's, you know what? I'm not having a great day, but I still believe in my mission. And that's okay.
Okay. So I think, that's, something I can understand, something I don't have any qualms with. I don't see that as magical thinking. What I think the extra step of saying that this mindset is somehow influencing how the universe unfolds, through if you just sit here and think about this, that good things might happen. I think that's what many people say manifestation is clicking your thoughts in the right sort of way so that you are somehow influencing the evolution of the universe. Either you are influencing what other people do or influencing what the universe brings to you, and that somehow this is going to be different just because of the way your thoughts are and nothing else you've done. And I see this in a lot, that there are books out there about manifestation. There are people that
hang on 1 second. My video said the recording stopped.
Okay.
Because my audio changed. I was in the car. I was connected to the car audio. Now my car has shut off. So we may have two separate recordings here, just so you know. And I apologize for interrupting you. I just thought you should know that.
Okay. No problem. It's still coming through.
Okay.
And I can just check. Yeah, I still see you on other platforms. So this is cool. So just
Okay.
for anyone who's joining us on any of these platforms, I'm broadcasting live from my Riverside studio to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time with my brother Kevin Scott of the Effortless Alphas, and we're talking about manifestation. So basically, your introduction that manifestation is a mindset and is how you greet the world is, kudos to that. I think that's more people should be thinking about what they want to get out of life and being ready for it. What I disagree with is the people that say just thinking about this is going to make it better.
Me too.
Okay.
I just thinking about anything isn't going to make it better. That's why I believe that I said that in the previous podcast. It's like just thinking positively isn't going to do anything. That's why positive thinking, and there is a lot of books and people out there that do say just think positively. I mean, that is it's this much the tip of it's not even the tip of the iceberg that you can see. It's the tip of the iceberg that melts really fast every day during the sun. positive thinking is great, but as I said, honest emotion and honesty about what we're thinking is far better. Changing the way that we respond to situations by changing our thought patterns is far more impactful and far more powerful to attracting what we want in our lives. And what it is we're not necessarily attracting, like if I want a car, I don't attract a car. I attract the people that are eventually going to make that happen, because we don't do anything by ourselves. And by maintaining
good.
A quality of control around the person that I'm being in every situation changes the way that others respond to me, even if it's not consciously. They will respond to me differently based on who I'm being in a moment, standing beside you. Because you can tell if someone's having a bad day standing beside you and they're in a horrible attitude. They don't have to say anything. You can feel it.
You can read the body language for certain.
The person is, there's something off about that person, and I kind of want to get away. But if I'm trying, if you're a car salesman and I'm trying to get a car, that's not going to work.
I think the problem is when people kind of posit that reality is something like a dream that we can subconsciously direct, like a solipsistic view of, my brain is I'm in one of these Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I can make weapons appear, and that sort of thinking that perhaps we're all competing to influence the universe with our thoughts. There's a series of magical things you need to do to win this competition and come out ahead.
Well, I will say what I have found, and now I haven't done any studies on this, but I've seen it happen, is the same thoughts happen in different people over and over and over again. And now there's 8 billion people on the planet. Someone else is probably having the exact same thought you're having right now. The odds of that are very high. Now the question is, if it's a business idea and it's like or a relationship or any certain thing that you want to manifest into your reality, who's going to do it faster? Because one person, if you want to make a business and you've got this great big huge idea, $1 billion business idea, someone else is having it at the same time, who's gonna make it first? Who's gonna actually do the things that start that on the path to creation? And I know this exists because I had an idea about, I'd say 8 years ago. And I was like, this is a great idea. And Melanie said, I mean, yeah, it's a good idea, but are you willing to do all the work that's going to go into it to make it happen? I was like, probably not. And then 2 years later, I saw it was on the Forbes 50 newest businesses, like up and coming businesses in the United States. I was like, that was my idea. I had that. So somebody else had it, actually did something about it. So I didn't manifest it into my reality because I didn't freaking do anything about it. But that person did.
Similar things happen in science as well. Like, in developing physics ideas and in any scientific field, I'm sure as more discoveries come to light, the next step becomes obvious, maybe to, many people at once. And it's often it's a race to publish. It's the same thing in the business world. I think that there's so many people out there that really, it would be surprising if you were the only one to have the idea. So a good point in being the first to make something happen when you have a good idea, or having the confidence in yourself to go ahead and do that.
That's it right there.
I've had similar situations that I've sat back and like, oh shoot.
Oops. Yeah. But it is the confidence. I think we talked about after our podcast last time, we talked about the ability to test our certainty. And it is the certainty that you're going to achieve the outcome that you desire. that really affects everything around us. It's that certainty. And if I can be absolutely 100% certain that something is going to happen, I truly, firmly, honestly believe it's going to happen a heck of a lot faster than if I have doubt.
See, that's where I have trouble.
Okay.
From a scientific standpoint, we have, the scientific mindset is that we hold everything as, there's no certainty in science. All of science is held as, yes, this is so until we get better evidence, or we have a weight of evidence. So I think maybe as a group, scientists are trained not to have certainty, because certainty shows that you don't have an open mind to other evidence. So, and maybe that's why scientists don't make good business people.
I mean, perhaps, but I don't know if it honestly changes what we were talking about, because if I'm certain of my outcome, and I'll give you a perfect example of this. There are a lot of people in the business world that have extraordinary conviction and certainty, and it often comes across as brash and not welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got a certainty about the outcome, it's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. Well, why are you such a jerk to me? It's not I'm a jerk. It's just I have extraordinary conviction. I have an extraordinary certainty. People that don't have that conviction and certainty often find it offensive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but if I'm certain that I have an outcome going, the decisions I make are going to be much faster. The people that come on board with my idea, with my vision, are going to also have my certainty, more so anyway. So they're going to affect more people. And the more people I get on board with my certainty and my conviction, the faster things will come towards me.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a very good management strategy. In my professional interactions or personal interactions, the people that have had certainty are mostly the young earth creationists and the flat earthers.
Well, there is a difference between certainty and pig-headedness.
Yeah, being right.
I can be certain that I'm going to have an outcome, but I don't need to be right about how I get there.
Okay.
I don't. The how doesn't even matter. I can make 1,000 mistakes along the way, but my certainty will almost ensure me that it's going to come.
So this is confidence in your success, effectively confidence in achieving your goals.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's definitely something that is defendable and is a very good thing to have, the confidence in achieving your goals. But the certainty that you are right about something is not it doesn't go well with skepticism and
no.
And evidence.
But one of the biggest things that I've done in my life, and I don't know if we talked about it on our first podcast about men's work, is getting over my need to be right. Like that is one of the number one things that interferes with us getting what we want out of life, is that need to be right. And I see it so often, especially in relationships. It destroys relationships. I need to be right that you were mean to me. Was I mean to you, or was I just protecting myself? Was I getting defensive? Do I need to be right about the fact that I wasn't looking at that person? I wasn't. Yeah. Do you need to be right about that?
Certainly a way to have fights.
Absolutely. That the need to be right is a relationship killer, and it can kill business relationships as well.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yes.
I mean, if scientists had a need to be right, there would be no science. It's like my thought is that,
It's
well,
not
you
science.
just said it. My thought is the earth is flat. Well, I need to be right about this, and I'm going to just give all evidence that I can explore and kind of half-ass and not listen to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, take that into your relationship, take that into your business.
Yeah.
Not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, certainly a problem that I have.
I think I may have learned it from you, and I've taken years to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no, I would never blame you for that.
So, getting back to manifestation. So, you're saying that only a small percentage of people that are pushing manifestation are actually thinking that this is some sort of magical, aphysical thing. I
Yes.
might take issue with that. I think that quite a large percentage of people are hoping that this is a way to get what they want without working for it.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a different perspective. I think a lot of people are hoping that it will make them a lot of money to tell people this, to buy their program.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I don't even know if they fully, some of them may even fully believe it. And if they believe it and they have certainty, then they're going to have a better outcome in their life. And then it does follow through in the way that we have talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the analogies I see to this, I had my mind in the right place, so therefore the universe gave me this car, or therefore the universe gave me this successful business. If you look at gamblers, all professional gamblers believe in beginner's luck. Why do they believe in beginner's luck? Because when they started, they got lucky.
Yeah.
If the ones that started gambling and didn't get lucky are not professional gamblers.
That's probably true.
Right? They would have said, "Oh shit, I'm losing all my money. Why would anybody do this? I'm out." Everybody who's a professional gambler believes in beginner's luck.
Unless they started saying, "I'm going to," and this was something I did want to mention. Unless they started with the mindset of, "I want to figure this out," because that's the same way with manifestation. I want to figure out how to get good at this. If I just go with I thought positively for a while and it didn't work, I'm bad at manifestation, I'm no good at it, how dare someone say that manifestation doesn't exist?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much effort and time did you put in trying to figure it out? And if you actually put time and effort into figuring it out, you'll eventually come to the conclusion that it takes time and effort, and a lot of it, in order to manifest what you want. I'm a good manifester. Melanie is a much better manifester because she has much more certainty than I. And she has just this insane drive and this insane huge mission to achieve what she wants to in the world. She has something in her heart and in her being that says, I'm on a road to somewhere. Are you coming? And people flock to her because of that.
Yeah, she's amazingly successful at what she does. Just to reiterate what we're doing here, we're chatting about manifestation, trying to distinguish it. I'm personally trying to distinguish manifestation from magical thinking. So Kevin has expressed that manifestation in the way he thinks of it is aligning your thoughts to your goals and being confident of your goals. So it's being in the right mindset to take on opportunities and to move forward. It's not basically changing reality by thinking.
No, exactly.
Effectively. So
it is.
That makes me feel a lot better about our relationship, Kevin.
Good. But it is kind of also changing our emotion so that people around us feel better. So in a way, that is changing reality. It changes someone else's reality. I might be
But it's
mincing
not
words.
changing
Though.
it by thinking. It's changing
No,
it by
no.
how our body language is setting us up and how we interact with people. It's not magical, right?
No.
There are physical things that you can see, physical cues, physical, and you know,
It might be even on a pheromone scale, so you might not be able to see it.
fair. Come on.
It it might even be our cells communicating with other people close by. We don't know much about that yet.
True. I mean, and you know, one of my interviews, which I really enjoyed, with Luca Turin, who is a guy who's, you know, basically uh, pioneered the new science of scent and how we smell things,
Yes.
and the interaction that how the brain actually detects these things is not well understood, or it hasn't been well understood until recently, and how this is actually working. We're always learning new things about these things. So, you know, unconscious signaling through pheromones is definitely something that exists, and we don't know much about it, how it interacts with our brains, and how our subconscious influences our conscious, and all of these things. So yeah, very interesting stuff.
You know, and there's also, our body has a mild electrical field that
Mm-hmm.
could be interacting with other people's electrical fields in close proximity. We still know very little about consciousness and how that works and how that might be interacting with things around us. Don't know. And you know, we leave bits of dead skin everywhere. If our bits of dead skin are positively charged, is that going to change someone else that walks over it? You know, just this tiny little much? Who knows?
I'm getting a charge from this conversation, Kevin. You've gone past where I would go, but you know, this is.
But this is it. I'm open to that. I'm open to those things.
Well,
Who knows?
I'm not going to ridicule things that I don't know much about, but I'm also not going to keep an open mind so much that my brain falls out.
There's a lot to learn. That's all. There's a lot that we don't know yet, and it's going to be really exciting to find out.
Indeed.
Hopefully, we get to experience it in our lifetime.
Yeah, the rate of discovery of new things continues to amaze me, and you know, just by the demographics of the number of people that are alive today doing science, and the tools that we have at our disposal to make us way more productive. I'm very excited about how artificial intelligence is going to influence the future, in that, you know, if we can use this as an assistant, um, to really help us, you know, not miss connections between things, or to get through drudgery. I've seen some fun memes lately on artificial intelligence. Like, I want artificial intelligence. I don't want artificial intelligence to do art and music while I'm doing dishes and cleaning the house. I want it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I want the AI to do the chores so that I can have more time to be creative.
Right.
And I think that's the winning formula for artificial intelligence, is that it has the ability to free us up from drudgery, and I think that's something that we need to take control of.
What a magical world we could live in, where everybody just got to focus on their passions. You know, we live in a society still where most people are taught to go get a job and work for somebody else, so that you can pay money to somebody else to have a home, and then pay more money to the government to keep that home and the food and all the things. But imagine we could just live in a world where you get to do the thing that makes you the happiest, and help the world doing that. Or even not the world, just your community, at the very least your own family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we should be. We've been making progress towards this goal for some time now. If you look at the and I've looked at this in earlier podcasts. If you look at productivity per hour for a person in 2024 as compared to a person in 1970, it's 2.5 times more productive per hour in inflation adjusted productivity. So if inflation is correct, which, let's take that as a given for now and not poke holes in it, which could be done easily. If inflation is correct, then we are producing 2.5 more times per hour of work than our parents' generation did in terms of real GDP. So technically, we should be able to have the same living standard as them by doing 2.5 times less work. But that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
And the reason is because inequity has significantly increased over the same time period, and the benefits of the automation haven't been distributed as evenly as before 1970 they were. So, if things were as equitable as they were in 1970, we should be, instead of 6-hour or 6-day work or 5-day work weeks, we should be down to 3-day work weeks or 2-day work weeks effectively.
But when you're doing your passion, there is no time frame for it. It doesn't feel like work. You'd probably put a lot more time into something you enjoy doing. Like, even if you just want to be a coach for kids soccer, you put way more than 3 days a week into that. If you enjoy it, you do it a lot. And I think that, to me, this is why it's so important that we focus on going after, creating our own businesses and doing whatever we can to get out of the quote unquote rat race, because there's so much money in the world. But you're right, it's in the hands of very few people, most of it. But can you get a piece of that? And what small piece do we each need of that massive trillions of dollars? Couple mil. If we could each get a couple mil,
I think we do a lot better with much less.
Yeah, but
I mean, this is why I advocate for universal basic income or some similar method of combating poverty, because the people below the poverty line don't have the ability or to take risks effectively. They cannot leave their indentured servitude to do things that might be better because they have a gun to their head effectively.
Well, I can tell you from having been below that line, when I started working at this business, I was making $300 a week. $300 a week, working 14-hour days. And that was, I would work 13 days off, 5 days, or 13 days on, 5 days off, 13 days on, 5 days off. That was my schedule. And I would put in 14-hour days. And I was making $300 to $400 a week. It wasn't cutting the mustard. I was maxed out on my credit cards. I was in debt up to my ears. What changed everything was when I started realizing that I had freedom in my own life. I had a choice to go into work. I could have gotten another crappy job. I didn't need that particular crappy job. That was freedom choice number one. And it started a series of lessons for me going, you know what? I am having more choice in my life than I'm giving myself credit for. I have more freedom than I give myself credit for. Now, not everybody is in that particular situation and can say that. I get that. But I think a lot of people are in a similar situation that could say that and start building something on their own on the side. Well, I don't have a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of time either, but I started building stuff on the side. And it takes a long time. The thing is, most people want to get out tomorrow. It's impossible. Tomorrow's not going to happen. I don't care how much magical thinking you want to do. That's never going to happen tomorrow, but it could happen 10 years from now. And if I could promise you that in 10 years you would be in a better financial situation, a better situation for your family, would you work that hard now? Most people would say yes. 10 years, no problem. But we're not willing to do that without seeing evidence that it's going to work. But this is where the confidence and the conviction comes down to, because an overnight success doesn't happen overnight. It's never happened in the history of the world. An overnight success takes 10 years. It's just you finally see it on the last day when it finally became successful.
It's also, I mean, difficult to take that leap when you need to raise kids and pay, you know, when you have dependents on you, to take such a leap.
I didn't say anything about a leap.
Yeah.
And I have never ever coached any of my clients to take a leap. Work harder, work smarter, but don't quit your day job to start something new. I never recommend that, because I didn't do it that way, so I don't know how to do that. I built it on the side after my 14-hour days. Again, I didn't have children. But we have worked with people that single moms with 3 children under the age of 5 that have built massive businesses. It can happen.
That's a rare person.
Yes.
Who has that time? I mean, it
have
feels
that
like we
courage.
don't have, we just don't have time these days. And I know, you know, in previous generations, if you look at how the demographics of economy have evolved over the years, in 1970, which was kind of the reference point I used when I was analyzing economics, something like 25% of families were dual income, 75% of families were single income, and their household income since 1970 has gone up about from, you know, 10 or 25%.
Yeah,
but we've gone from 25% of families being single income to 25% or 25% being dual income to 25% being single income. So now 75% of families have both parents working, and our average household income's only gone up by 10 or 25%. It hasn't, you know, been proportional to the amount of hours put in. And we've lost all the time of that stay-at-home parent. Like all the work that this person used to do in chores and house cleaning and, you know, household repairs now are being done after work or on the weekends. You know, you've got 40 hours of unpaid work that you have to make up now that you used to get done. So, and this is
overwhelming. The majority of the work that I do is helping people in relationships, so that kind of stuff doesn't interfere with the relationship. Because imagine you're in that situation. If you are in that situation, if you are in that situation, it shouldn't be hard. But if you're in that situation and you're arguing about money, and you're arguing about who's going to do the tasks, and you're not on the same page on a daily basis. And I think for men especially, we take it on ourselves to not inform our partners about the actual situation that our family is in, because we feel it's our responsibility, even if there is double income, to make sure that everything's taken care of financially. So we don't know how to talk about it, but learning how to talk about money with your partner is going to not only save thousands and millions of marriages, because the divorce rate has gone through the roof since all this has happened as well, but it's going to save your life possibly. And imagine being able to go to work and not worrying about what your partner's going to say when you get home. Then imagine who you could be at work. Every single man I've worked with that has basically gone, I need to do all this for money and I can't focus on my relationship. When they come to work with me and they start focusing on their relationship first, and they have the courage to sometimes put their job on the back burner and say, you know what, I can't go in today because I've got to take care of this with my wife. And it's not just I've got to take care of, honeydew list, but it's like emotional work with my partner. Their financial situations have improved dramatically to a man. Because when you're not stressed about your relationship at work, you perform even better. And that gets seen, it gets noticed.
And I think this ties back to your idea of manifesting, of, bringing your right body language and attitude. And I'm very happy that it's not magical thinking. I'm very happy that it's an actual physical thing that one might believe actually is in line with physics and causality.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as I said, I don't love the idea that, if you're just, the original idea of manifestation, I think was put forward as just think like this and the universe is going to bring things to you. The universe is some actual thing that knows what you're thinking and arranges circumstances so that you alone will get what you want. Now, this is, this well, maybe it's some sort of religious thing that we think that the universe is listening to our thoughts and is giving it to us. And I'm sure a lot of religious people do think that God is up there being, favoring them over everyone else because they're, they're good people. But I don't even think that has theological backing amongst the church.
God helps those that help themselves.
That is not from the Bible, but people do think that.
I can see how people could think it's magical if it just happens for them. Sure. And then they go say, I didn't do anything. I just thought it and it happened.
Well, that's the beginner's luck story from gamblers, right?
Yeah, same thing.
The people that don't do any work and it happens to are going to be believers, and there's nothing you can do to change their mind. And it's just a bias. It's an anecdotal bias, right? I have an anecdote. This happened to me, therefore it was real.
And because we struggle, we want to believe it.
People struggle. People want to believe there's purpose behind random things happening. You want some agency in the world, in a world where people don't feel powerless, that the system is beating them down. They want to feel like they have agency, that something they did mattered and caused this to change. That's not always the case. Sometimes you just get lucky and win the lottery. As you say, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And with how 8 billion people, 9 billion people in the world, very rare things are going to happen every day. 1 in a billion is going to happen to somebody.
And if you were to actually manifest a lottery win, putting this out there, this might sound a little woo-woo. If you were to manifest a lottery win, what you would have to do is learn how to manage all that money first. This is why most people that win the lottery that were bankrupt before go bankrupt again, because they didn't learn how to get there. If you were to learn how to do all that stuff, you'd be much closer to manifesting a lottery win. And remember, I said, it doesn't matter how I get all the money. The lottery win might happen in any number of different ways, where you actually all of a sudden have some great business idea and you are able to make that happen because you learned a bunch about money. You might be in real estate because on your process of learning about money, you learned about investing in real estate, and then you became extraordinarily wealthy. And that could be your quote unquote lottery win.
Thank you for clarifying that. You had me scared for a minute.
That's why I said it might sound a bit woo-woo. Let me get to my point.
Yeah, and for people who are, skeptics and science defenders, we don't do ourselves a favor by jumping all over people saying that their thought processes are wrong. You aren't going to win friends and influence people by doing that. You need to listen to where they're coming from and help them to, you know, say, okay, well, maybe, you know, maybe the universe is listening to you and making things good, but maybe you are just more prepared to take advantage of opportunity, which seems more likely to you. But going and saying, you're wrong, you can't think this way, is not good for anyone moving forward. If you want more people to move away from magical thinking, attacking them is not the way to do it. You have to present yourself uh, and you know, as someone that they can trust first, or they won't even listen to you. So you know, if you're talking to someone that you want to influence to become more of a rational thinker, you have to listen to first their emotions, and you have to empathize with them and show them that you are aligned with them before they're even going to listen to a word that you say. And I know a lot
This
of people are very frustrated out there on the internet because you see a lot of these silos that swirl around with magical thinking or whatever, flat earth or whatever anti-science thing they're, and they only hear the one message. And they're just gonna silo up if you come in guns blazing with facts, even though you're right. You know, what is your goal here? Is your goal to have to feel better about flaming people who are wrong, or to actually make the world a better place and help these people come to rational goals? And that's, you know, that's
exactly.
my goal with this podcast, is to help bridge these gaps and not, you know, come in guns blazing at the woo woo people.
And it works the same way in relationships. Like when you are feeling attacked in your relationship, what's the first thing you do? Is you get defensive and you hunker down. We talked about this. You hunker down in your belief that I'm right, or my belief that I'm right, or your belief that you're right. When you get defensive, nobody gets to get hurt anymore. It ends the conversation right there. You can talk all you want, but nothing's gonna change when one party is defensive. Nobody else gets to get hurt anymore. And so coming in with the no, you're wrong, well, you can tell me all you want from this point forth. I am stopping everything from coming into my brain. I'm right. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come in with, that's an interesting perspective. I could see how that, like, I actually had a conversation with a flat earther once online. And I said, I can see how a lot of that makes sense. Like the gravity thing is, you know, if I don't really look at the science, it's really interesting how little birds can fly up into the sky. Huh. Why aren't they stuck to the ground if there's gravity? That, okay, I can see, you know, if I didn't say this, but I'm like, if I don't think about it at all, if I don't try to explain it, it makes sense. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. Here's an alternative line of thinking. What do you think about that? And it prevents that defensive-ness right off the hop, where people can be hurt, and they still might not believe you. They might, who knows? But as you said, this is not about forcing our beliefs down other people's throats. It's about opening up minds and creating a better world.
I think that's a great message and a nice maybe conclusion to our first live attempt on the Rational View here. So I'd like to thank you again, Kevin, for joining me on the Rational View.
Of course.
Turning this into a podcast, and
Woo-hoo.
I hope if anybody came on and listened, that you enjoyed listening to it live. I think I probably will do this again. It wasn't that painful, and I'll probably do a better job of advertising it the next time. So maybe we can get some of your questions and get some live feedback and figure out how this all works. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.